Hi ladies, I'm back with another video. I am Nina, welcome back to the channel, and if you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And today's topic is going to be a little bit of a spicy, tough love topic. And before we get into it, I want to put a disclaimer out there. Ladies, this is not an attack. This is something that we all go through. It's a phase. And if you are in this phase, there's no need to be embarrassed or anything like that. But I am going to be calling you out in this video, okay? So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Having an attitude does not equal having standards. That is the tea. I hope you have your beverage and your notebook so we can get into this topic. I've got my notes over here, so if you see me looking down, you already know why. But having an attitude, ladies, does not automatically mean you have standards. In fact, I would go as far as saying it's the exact opposite. If you have an attitude, it's probably because you know you don't have standards and you're trying to overcompensate by having an attitude because you think that is what is going to help communicate your boundaries and your standards, but it's not. Very often, people with really solid standards don't have to be mean about it. Very often, the women that actually have standards and boundaries will be able to communicate that without probably even saying a word. Okay, so it's a very nonverbal, energetic thing. It's either you have it or you don't. So if you find yourself catching an attitude around people and doing the following things that we're going to talk about in this video, then you really need to do some introspection and figure out what boundaries you need to start setting with people so that things don't always have to escalate to a level where you are having an attitude to try and communicate what it is that you want or are comfortable with versus what you don't want. Okay, so let us bring this back because this topic can go so far, but let's bring it back to dating. Let's bring it back to interacting with men. Let's bring it back to trying to get the best dating experience that you can and how you can basically catch yourself when you are allowing certain things to happen versus, and then feeling like you have to have an attitude versus you not even putting yourself in certain positions to even have to deal with certain things. Okay, so this will go back to like the nice girl syndrome if you suffer from that. And this is basically what nice girls do, which I have done for a very long time, but it doesn't work. Nice girls think that if they are nice, that's how they're going to get respect. So when nice girls date, they'll usually overgive, overcompensate, and all of that kind of stuff because they think that's what they have to do to earn someone's loyalty, affection, attention, whatever, right? And then when they don't get the result that they want, that's when they flip the script and start having an attitude because now they feel almost entitled to being treated a certain way just because they treated the person a certain way. You know what I mean? So you treat me the way that you want me to treat you, and then you get mad when I don't treat you the way that you treated me. And while in logical terms, it does make sense that people should treat you the way that they, are treated by you. In actual fact, that's not even true. People will treat you the way that you treat yourself more often than not. So let's talk about how this becomes an attitude. So there's this tendency of women to look for the negative. In fact, I won't say it's just women, I'll say people in general, but obviously I'm a woman, so I can speak from my perspective. And there's a tendency among us that has us looking for negatives in the dating experience, right? And of course, part of this is survival because, when you get into a new environment, you want to scope and look for danger first, and that's just a human survival thing, right? But if you're conscious of it, then you should have some control over it. And what women tend to do is they look for the negative and they miss the good stuff. And they're so focused on the negative that they start creating stories in their minds to react to this perceived. So let me give you a practical example of this. Say you are talking to someone who is interested in you and he is trying to set up a date for the two of you to meet, right? Say maybe you suggest a place and he suggests a place and he's really advocating for his place because maybe it's convenient for him or it's something that he's familiar with, that he prefers, right? Now, what a nice girl with no standards is going to do is she's going to say, okay, we can go where you want to go, okay? And then later, if she doesn't have a good time, she's going to get mad about the fact that, first of all, he took me to a place I didn't even want to go to. And then he had the nerve to, order me the cheapest meal on the menu, or he had the nerve Now, a girl that is not the nice girl anymore, that actually has standards, same scenario, she won't just go with the flow. If he suggests something that is not something she would naturally go to because it's her standard or even higher than her standard, she is not going to go with the flow, okay? But she's not going to be rude about it either. She can easily say something like, I'd actually rather go to this place, her initial place. And she will lean back and allow the guy to decide whether he wants to insist on going to where he wants to go or if he wants to please her. And she'll put herself in a position that if he's insistent on going, she'll be like, I'm okay, thank you so much. And she won't go on that date. So what is the difference between these two women? The one is hoping that if she's nice, at the end, it's going to be worth it, okay? This guy's going to like her. He's going to appreciate her. He's going to let her have the best time of her life, blah, 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 right? And the second girl is like, I'm not taking chances. If it means losing out on a loser date, I'd rather lose out, okay? But that is how you set standards. Now, the man is likely to bend and take the second girl to where she wants to go and try and please her and, pull out his best whatever, to try and please her, because he understands that she has boundaries, she has standards. She doesn't even have to go to please him if it's not going to please her. And how is he going to treat the nice girl? He might take her to wherever he wanted to go in the first place. And he's probably going to give her very basic treatment because in his mind, and men do this, ladies, and we all do this subconsciously as people, in his mind, he already tested her limits and it was very easy to get her compliance. So he already knows that he is on the pedestal in this dynamic. So it's very easy for him to get what he wants. Now, if he chose something that was better than what you suggested, this is probably not the case. But if he chose something that was below what you suggested and you accepted it, then he knows that you're probably going to accept more of what you actually don't want. And he's going to see how much he can take, and that's when you're going to feel taken advantage of. Okay, another example of this that's less obvious is when girls are just curious. I'm just curious. Okay, so what does this mean? So it's the same thing where you meet somebody who maybe wants to take you somewhere where you don't want to go, or even deeper, maybe he has certain character traits that you're just not interested in, right? So say for example, he suggests that your first date or your second date or whatever is at his house, right? And you already know that is something that you don't want to do, Okay, so, but you'll start making excuses and, oh, I was just curious, to see where he stays, or I was just curious to get to know him, and obviously nothing's gonna happen without my consent, but I was curious to get to know him. When a nice girl or a curious girl or whatever gets offered a house date, she will accept it despite knowing that that's not what she wants, and she'll know that's not what she wants, but she'll accept it because one, she doesn't want to let him down and be mean, and two, she's going to try and fit it into her brain by saying, oh, I was just curious to get to know him, like, is he really who he says he is? Does he really stay where he says he stays? Does he really drive that car? And when you flip it to the girl who actually has standards and boundaries, she's like, I don't care how nice his house is. I don't care how nice his car is. I'm not going there if I'm not comfortable already, or if I'm not in an established relationship, or whatever her standards are. Okay. And then what will happen is the nice girl will be caught in a scenario where the guy is going to be coming onto her thinking or pretending as if everything is okay because he's going to try it, and she's going to feel offended. She's going to feel offended. How dare he? I feel so violated. I feel so, and she's going to have an attitude and all of that kind of stuff with him, or just when she's retelling the story or whatever. But the whole point is, why would you even put yourself in that scenario in the first place? That's my question. Whereas the girl with real boundaries, or the woman with real boundaries, she's not even going to go there. Look, if you want me to visit you at your house, you are going to have to make me your girlfriend, and in order to get to that point, you and I are still going to have to get to know A, B, C, and D about each other, whatever, okay? And once again, the guy's perspective is, okay, this girl, if I suggest, this, she'll come through even though she's not yet comfortable with me. And when I try something, she's going to have an attitude about it because we all know she doesn't know me like that. She's not comfortable with me yet. But I am way closer. One or two more of these, it's late. Okay. And then this woman who is like, sir, we don't even know each other like that. He's like, oh, okay, so I probably have to take her out a couple more times. I probably have to buy her a couple of gifts, something just to make her feel comfortable. Okay, and if he's interested in that kind of, pursuit, will chase. And if he's not, he'll be out. And I think that's the one thing that trips nice girls up, is the thought of a man losing interest. Oh man, ladies, you need to understand that we want them to deselect themselves as quickly as possible. You don't want somebody in your space, in your phone, in your awareness that is going to distract you from what you actually want. You want somebody who's going to bring you closer to what you want. So what do you want? Figure it out. I make a video about that. But figure out what it is that you want and don't compromise. So if a relationship is something that you want, define what kind of relationship you want. And hold out for somebody who's going to give you something that at least looks like that, not something that is the exact opposite. Okay, if you want to date and be taken to nice places, stick to that. Okay, don't accept McDonald's and places that, no, come on. You know what I mean? If you want whatever it is that you are trying to establish, make sure that you only entertain things along that line. And when a man walks away because he feels like he cannot live up to what it is that you want, let him. Please let him. Because that is that man being super honest and actually being super fair and letting you have the space to receive what you really want. And ladies, that's all that standards are, okay? I know it's like this big mystical word that people love to just throw around, but that's literally what it is. It's you saying, this is what I want, and I'm not willing to entertain anything that does not at least resemble what it is that I want. Sometimes you'll get 10% of what you want, and then the more you focus on it, it grows to 20%, more people who have what you're looking for start coming through, and it grows until eventually that's your life, right? But if you say, oh, I only want to date up, and somebody comes to you with a McDonald's date and you take it, you're not ready to level up. You're not ready to date up. You haven't made your mind up about it because it's not yet a requirement. And once it's a requirement, that's the only thing you're going to entertain, and that's what you call standards. So, ladies, let's drop the attitude. Let's drop the nice girl syndrome. Let's drop the curiosity. You do not need to know or please a man that you have just met. He should be in that energy of trying to get to know you, trying to please you, trying to do things to, keep you around. If you are convincing yourself to go with the flow because maybe later on down the line you're going to get what it is that you want, not going to happen. And having an attitude is not going to bring you any closer. Calling a guy out is not going to bring you any closer to your goal. You're just wasting energy. All you need to do is keep it moving. Only focus on the scenarios that are complementary to what you have in mind. Everything else, just ignore it gracefully. Okay. All right, ladies, I'm going to leave this video over here. There's so many different scenarios that I can go into. And if you want some more, you know what to do. Let me know in the comments below and I'll make more videos. But I just wanted to leave you ladies with that. Please don't put yourself in a scenario that does not match up to what you are leveling up for, and then get mad when people don't do what you thought they were going to do. Okay? All you need to do is only go with scenarios that are in line with what it is that you are leveling up for, and ignore every other invitation. Stay exclusive to your level up, and that's when the right people are going to start showing up. And if the wrong people show up, just walk away and entertain someone new. That's it. So thank you so much for joining me on this tea. As you can see, it was some real tea. And I'm going to see you beautiful ladies in the next one. And remember to stay feminine. All right?